Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We've got another fabulous breakout session for you, and I'm thrilled to introduce the beautiful and very switched on in business, Sophie Musumeci. Hi, Soph. How are you?
Hi, Danny. I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. We were just talking before we went on, and you were saying you're based in New South Wales, but I would love for you to tell people who don't know much about you a little bit about what you do, what lights you up, and where you are from.
Yes, I'm in Sydney now. We were just chatting, and it turns out that one of the ladies on here is best friends with my best friend, and we grew up like 20 minutes away from each other, both in very small country towns, population 200 to 400. So crazy and awesome. So started in the country, moved to the Gold Coast when I was about 18, and I left school when I was, let's just say I left school when I was in year 11. I may have been asked to leave. And I just worked. Like Dad said, if you're going to leave school, you've got to work. So I got 3 jobs. And just from there, I just had this obsession with learning and growing. And through that, it brought me to Sydney. And then I got my first corporate job, which was pretty cool. And I met my now husband, and we decided to put roots down here in Sydney. And then we had our first baby, Toby. Now, for the country girl who, by the way, had a pet pig called Gertrude, was living in the city, I had a nanny, and it was all just like dream life. Yeah, like, oh my God, the girl from the country. Like, it was just, I was so happy. And then I think I came home, I think Toby might have been about 18 months old. And I realized that he picked up more of our Polish nanny's mannerisms than he had of mine or Danielle's. And it was the biggest, like, oh shit, am I allowed to swear? Because I do that a little bit, sorry. And I was just like, having a stay-at-home mum, I had completely missed the importance of being around. And I kind of thought, well, if they're going to have anyone's mannerisms or quirkiness, good or bad, they should be ours. So I didn't really know what to do from there. And when Stella was born, I started my first business in network marketing, and that kind of allowed me to see, wow, like people actually do this. People actually go and start a business, and you can earn money, and you don't have to go and work in a job that takes you away from your family. So that kind of evolved, and then I created a networking company called Real Entrrepeneur Women, because I realized that there were all these fabulous women out there growing businesses, but they were alone and really isolated, and I wanted to be able to bring them together, kind of like a B&I, but for women, so a lot more fun and just more personal. And then from there, I realized, well, the real gap is that unless we have the right strategies in place, unless we know how to sell ourselves and we have that income coming in, then none of the rest really matters, because the pressure gets put on from family and from life to have an income, and I saw so many women going back and getting a job. So fast forward 2 years ago, I launched the Wealthy Woman Mastermind. So it is a deeply supportive immersion program where we work with consultants, coaches and service providers to help them to really shift out of that hustle and grind phase. When you're trying to do it all by yourself, and it's like a giant jigsaw puzzle and none of the pieces really connect, or if they do, they break not long after. To really shift out of that hustle and grind and create a business that allows you to have clients lining up and paying you the big bucks. None of this like, underselling or discounting. So yeah, it's been nearly 2 years now since we launched that. And I can honestly say I'm so glad that I just went all in and backed myself and invested in learning the skills and getting it set up, because honestly now my life looks so different. Like I work 20 hours a week. I get to meet fabulous women like you, and ultimately I get to help other women make money. And yeah, it's like I have Thursdays off every day. Like it's just, yeah, so it's worth it. It's so worth it. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to say you've had such an eclectic kind of collection of work and roles that you've played over that 15 years or 15 years plus now. I'd love to know, for everyone that's watching, you went from having a corporate working life where I can imagine you were working fairly long hours and fairly, busy. How do you find now that you balance your time between what you do and your home life with kids and chaos and all the madness that goes with it? Do you have any tips and tricks around time management, or how to keep your kind of, I guess, your flow going?
Yeah, really great question. So I always start with, what do I want my life to look like? So how do I want to live? And I think that for women, it's always been the opposite. We always come last. Like, it's always about everyone else. And, you know, if you are a mum, like, all of a sudden your body's not even your own anymore, you know, it's just, and so always start with you. What do you want? How do you want to live your life? How many hours do you want to work? How involved do you want to be in your kid's life? Like, what is it that lights you up? And then start backwards from there. Like, having financial independence, I think, is the number one most important thing for women, because it gives you choice, it gives you decision, it gives you power, and not in an ego way. You know, they say, like, if you put money in the hands of women, you change the world. So figure out what you want and how much money you want to make. And how much do you want? Not how much do you think you should want, but how much do you really want? And then we work backwards. So then we go, okay, so if you want to earn $200,000 in a year, $100,000 a year, 50 grand, doesn't really matter. What is that goal? And then work backwards. So if you want to work 20 hours a week, how many clients can you serve in that time? Remember, you have to do marketing and all of the cool stuff that goes with it. So maybe 10 hours or a little bit less. What is it that you need to sell or package or create that will allow you to hit that income goal working those hours? That's what you focus on. And then it's up to you to put the boundaries in place. Have the conversations with your partner around them doing more with the kids, or around expectations. Have the conversation with your kids. When mummy's in the office, mummy's working. Have the conversation, like, get the support that you need, outsource the cleaning, like, whatever you need to do to create that world. Because we're our own worst enemy. We always go, oh, I'll just do it. It's okay, I'll just do it. And while we're doing that, we're actually moving ourselves further away from what we really want. So start from there, and then it's up to you to put the boundaries in place. Because I think it's easy sometimes to say, I want this, but unless we're actually committed to then putting the actions in place that are going to help us get it, it's always just going to be a dream. And it doesn't have to be, it really doesn't have to be.
I think you touched on a really important factor there that a lot of people don't do, and we've spoken about it with a couple of the judges in previous sessions, is outsourcing, sticking to what you do really well and outsourcing the rest, because your time is so valuable. I think that's a great lesson. So thank you for sharing that, because it's often one that's really overlooked in business. I think we try and do everything ourselves, and we're not the best at everything. You know, we're not marketing experts, we're not website developers, we're not, you know, SEO experts. So, but those things are really important if you're doing e-commerce and online stuff. So it is really good to outsource and then focus, like you said, on what it is you want your life to be, those goals, and then working backwards. I think people think too far ahead and then freak themselves out and think, oh, I can't get there, it's impossible, because they don't step it back. So I'd love to know, Sophie, was there a moment in your career that you just went, this is my success? Like, was there a light bulb moment, or was there something in your career where you think it was such a defining moment for you? I'd love to know what that was for you.
There was a couple. I think the moment when, I think it's been, wow, maybe nearly 3 years. Wow, time, I was going to say time goes really fast. Where I bought out my business partner from Real Entrrepeneur Mums back then, due to personal reasons, nothing with us, we were all good. And I had to make a decision at that point. We had the networking communities now for maybe 2 years, and we had opened a lot, but we hadn't been able to get the financial return. Our costs were the same as what we were earning. So we hit 6 figures, but our what went out in marketing and paying and everything else really didn't leave anything left for us. So I had to decide at that point, what was I going to do? Because this life that I had wanted, that I was talking about before, which is ultimately why I started in network marketing, I saw an opportunity to do that. And then, you know, through that, I discovered the networking and creating that company instead. But I still wasn't any closer to the life that I wanted. And I had to really think about, and I had a conversation with my husband as well. I'm like, I know there's something else bigger here. And I know I'm not that far. Like, I had this knowing, like, has any of you ladies ever had that knowing? Like, you know but you just don't know how. It's like, you know, you can make a difference. You know that there's something. And I just had to trust and believe that each step was leading to the next. And so that's when that's when I decided, look, I've got to figure out how to plug the gaps, because there's something here I don't know, because we don't know what we don't know. Like, we only know what we've been exposed to. So I went and researched like the best coaches, female coaches. And so I hired a mentor, a coach, a strategist, and she kept saying to me, like, she goes, you're incredibly talented. She goes, but you're not using all of your skills here to solve the real problem. You're providing a networking or a service, but actually you are the expert. And it took me so long for me to get my head around that. Like, put me in a corporate environment in front of a team of execs or sales or whatever. And I'm like, that was my zone. I was so comfortable in that. But for some reason, I didn't believe that I had the goods in this world. It's almost like I couldn't see how transferable everything I had been doing was. There was this block, and she saw it, and she kept going. I was just like so resistant, put up blocks. No, I just want to grow. This is the business. This is my plan. I had that so clearly. But what I couldn't see is that wasn't working, and that was never going to get me to where I wanted to be. And so at that point, you know, she goes, well, what could you train people on? Like, just make a list of all of the things that you know, all of the things you've been able to help people get. And I created this full list, and she just started laughing at me. She's like, you're more talented than most of the women that I coach, she says. And she goes, you need to be doing what I'm doing. And so she kind of gave me the structure of how to do that. And I just never looked back. I realized that women have so many gifts, talents, skills, but we underplay them. And with the right person to kind of just, like, you know, get behind you and back you up and go, here's a structure, here's how you do it. It just created that platform then for me. And like within 30 days, we hit $30,000. So, and we've consistently done that for well over, I think, 18 months now. And last month we had a $50,000 month. So it just created that platform for me to completely transition out of this. I was really hobbying because I wasn't all in. I was still working 2 days a week as well, contracting. And the moment I stopped that and went, no, I'm going all in, and had one thing to focus on, yeah, it just, everything shifted. It just...
Yeah, you're so right. It's just having the focus. I think when people focus on way too many things, you don't do anything really well. So can I ask you, Sophie, then, if you could go back in time to the beginning of when you started your career, what advice would you give yourself now, knowing what you know? If you could go back to that year 11 girl who's just been asked to leave school and now you're in the working space, what advice would you give younger Sophie?
Maybe don't party as hard. No, you know, honestly, I've always just had this knowing, and I don't know if that's just through, like, I'm a little bit intuitive, I'm definitely not psychic, but I've just always had this knowing that to trust myself. And like, I came home from being, I don't know, some event in Mount Gambier when I was just turned 18. I came home and said to my parents, I was moving to the Gold Coast in 2 weeks. Oh, and can I have $1,000? Because I worked out that's how much I needed. So I believe that every step that we've taken, it brings us to where we are right now. Like, every mistake I've made actually has enabled me better now to support my clients not to make those mistakes, or not to make them as deeply as what I did. So every step, good, bad, ugly, tears, heartbreak, failure, whatever, has actually brought me right here to this call today with you. And it's the same with all of you. I think there's a letting go of how we view disappointment or failures or things that just didn't work out. And that could be anything from relationships through to business, through to parenting, through to health. And I've had a lot of, and I do a lot of mind and energy work. So, you know, I have anything that I feel is like I'm resisting on or blocking, I'll have a clearing session with one of my NLP coaches, or I'll have a kinesiology session, or I'll just work with my mentor through it, you know. So advice, play hard, have fun, you know, be nice to people, but that's kind of what I did.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you're really open and honest about how you are still working on your growth and your personal development, and that you seek help when you need it. So, because I think so often we don't, you know, we try and push through. We think, I won't go and have a therapy session. I won't go and have a kinesiology, you know, session. I'm okay. I'll push through. I can make it. I've done it before. And I think that's where, when you really stop and think about investing in yourself in that way and continuously investing in that way, I think that's when you really see your true success. So I think, yeah, great advice, because I don't think women in business and men speak about it enough. And it's really nice to hear it from someone that's having $50,000 months, that you're still working on you too. So
yeah, I spoke with one of my coaches. She runs one of the parts of my mastermind. And I said to her yesterday, she goes, how are you? I'm like, I'm so tired. I'm like, I can't get out of bed. I'm just like, I said, I even when I had a pregnancy test, I was like, what's wrong with me, you know? And the chemist was like, God, let's hope not. And but I was just like, what is going on? Like, I was yawning all the time. I'm drinking endless cups of tea just to try and keep up. And she's like, it's Mercury. Mercury's out. It's a massive moon thingy, whatever. And I'm like, so now I'm in tune with the moons. So yeah, I always reach out. I guess I don't have a fear of getting it wrong. So I'm okay to reach out and go, this is going on, it's not working, or I don't know. I don't feel right, I don't know, and just asking someone who does, you know. So we can't do this alone, we can't do life alone. You know, that's why they give us mothers groups when we have babies, because you need those people around you. So yeah,
takes a village, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So you're in you are in an industry that is quite soaked and saturated with, especially now that we've had this transition in our world where everybody's now online and looking for opportunities. So coaches and mentors and, you know, people are popping up like weeds in gardens. They're everywhere. What do you think the biggest challenge is in your industry right now? So in that, you know, service industry, coaching, in your mentoring and running your masterclasses, what are some of the things that you're doing that help you stand out? And what are some of the challenges around making that work in an industry that is becoming more and more saturated as it goes?
Yeah, I suppose I see things just a little bit different. So I don't see it as in saturated, because more and more people need help, right? So I see it as in a different, slightly different, that more people need help in their lives than ever. More people are going through challenges. We've got more pressures in our world than ever, with financial, with health, with business, with everything. So I think that there is an incredible opportunity here for women to rise and really rise. And the thing that will make the difference for you is being able to clearly articulate your value and find a very authentic and genuine message. So it's not about, and this is like with working with a strategist and like what I've done in the past and with the women that we were helping, it's not about them becoming me. It's not about them copying exactly what I do or how I say things or how I dress, or, you know, by the way, I didn't look like this yesterday. You know, it's not about that. It's about finding that most authentic voice. So when you can deeply understand your audience, so who do you all serve? And what are their real problems? Because so many people are talking about like the high level stuff, clients, leads, mindset, energy, burnout, you know, all these kind of like higher bannered statements. But what you need to do is bring it down. What we do is we help women find their unique, authentic voice by dropping that down into, but what does that mean? What does that look like? How does that feel? What's the impact on you being burnt out through your job? How does that impact your relationship with your husband? How does that impact your relationship with your friends? Do you even go out with your girlfriends anymore? How does that impact how you are as a mum? How does that impact how you feel as a woman? So it's about really connecting it down. Online provides us an incredible opportunity to meet people that would otherwise never know we existed, right? They're going to come knock on your door. So if you want to stand out online, it's not about having the perfect dress or the perfect website. By the way, we hit $30,000 in a month. I didn't even have a website. Like, you don't need a website if you're a coach or a consultant to get started and make money. You can reinvest that afterwards, but it's definitely not the first step. Finding your authentic voice and learning how to communicate that, whether that's on video or in your content or on your landing pages, that is what will separate you from everyone else. They want to know that you get them, like you really get them. Like, the first thing we do in our mastermind, the very first step, is we go so deep on understanding the real problems of the audience that you're here to serve. And then we create a package or a program or an offer using all of your skills, gifts, and talents that specifically solves these problems. Whereas what everyone else does is they go, I'm really great at Facebook ads, or I'm really great at this, or I'm really great at that. And then they go out and then they try and go, hey, do you want to get more leads? Well, our company does this, this, and this, and then we can help you. No one cares about you. So being an authentic coach or consultant or service provider online, make it all about them. Make it all about them, and then share examples of how you're helping other people just like them. So for instance, today at 1 o'clock in my group, I'm interviewing one of my students. So last week she closed a $37,000 deal, right? And so we're going to interview her in my group. And so others can see the transition. It's not about me going, hey, I'm awesome, come work with me. So there's just ways that you can do this, which aren't, I call it the sleazy sales kind of marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, love it. I love that you're laser focused and you know exactly what you're gunning for. I think that really is the key difference whenever you're chasing a goal, is to really hone in on what it is you're offering, not just trying to be a jack of all trades, getting really specific and solving the problem. It's great advice. I'd love to know, Sophie, your online persona, you put yourself out there. It's like, I've seen you do lives in your car. I've seen you, like, you just are jumping on, you're putting your face out there, delivering the message, whatever that message might be for the day, even if it's that you're not having a great day. I'd love any advice that you could share with people watching this who might still be stuck in that fear or the limiting beliefs, their limiting self-beliefs on their own ability to put themselves out there, so that they can create that persona and that connection between their audience, their clients, their customers, and themselves. What advice, you would have about getting over that fear and, I guess, just jumping in and doing it? How did you break that limiting belief? Because we often wake up in the morning, think we can't get on, I look tired, I'm dried out, I've got a pimple, my hair's a mess. COVID's, no one's been to a hairdresser in Victoria, I don't think, for 6 months. So everybody's like, I don't want to get on and have, regrowth or broken ends. So what are some of the things that people can do? Do you get yourself into a routine, or is there anything that you do before you jump on a live?
Yeah, absolutely. I do. Like yesterday when I really wasn't feeling it, as I was saying, I was just tired. So I put music on. Like, music is like an instant thing. And I dragged myself out of bed and just got on the cross trainer for half an hour, just because when you energy is energy. So you need to put it out to get it back. So I did some of those things to really help. And today I'm feeling so much better. The first thing though that I would ask you is, what's holding you back? Like, why don't you want to put yourself out there? Because there's normally something going on. So it may be, and feel free to use the chat for those who are on live, I'll have a look. It might be around, maybe you've done a live before and no one showed up. And so you're like, oh shit. It might be the tech. that gets you holding back. It might be worrying about what people think, because if you have predominantly used your Facebook before for family and friends, and now there you are showing up in a completely different space, you don't want to be judged. It might be, what else are we working through? It might be like, you know, thinking like you have to be perfect, or maybe you don't know what to say. So if it's fear around being judged, or if it's anything that's like holding you back that's got to do with other people, then that may have come in from you from the past. Maybe you have done something and you have been shot down. It may have happened in your childhood and you have no idea about it. I would highly recommend you go and get that cleared out. You don't even need to know what it is in order to go have it cleared out. So that's when I would book in one of the sessions with either Julie or Bianca and get that sorted. And it's all done virtually, by the way. My last session with Julie, I can't even like, wow, just, I wish I could show you the inside of my brain of what we discovered, but I can't because you never know. But anyway, it's really incredible. So get it, if there is something there and you feel it's blocking you, get that cleared out. If it's a not knowing, like it's a, I don't know what to say, or I don't know how to say it, there's a confidence thing there around understanding your value, understanding what problems you solve, and it's a strategy. Like ultimately, there's a strategy to showing up online. It's not like I don't just go, okay. I mean, sometimes I do, but I've learned how to do video, how to engage on the thing. So one of the things that we do in the mastermind is we have a private Facebook group, and I have a training module where I teach them the 6 steps of nailing Facebook Lives and getting people to book calls with you after them. And so they learn that program, and then they just practice their lives in my private mastermind group, where I can then give them feedback. And so the women that really take hold of this, what they do is they do one video. I give them heaps of feedback around, say this, change this, lighting, camera, whatever it is. They do the exact same one the next day, taking on all of those feedback, and it's completely different. So then I can critique them again. And then they do it again, and the third one is amazing. And then what they've done through that is they've been able to learn the strategy and the skill and the confidence and how to say and what to say. And the difference between the first one and the third one, you would think that they were completely different people. So, and the confidence grows from that. That's why it's really important to have someone who can see what you can't see, or who can give you that honest feedback. Like one of my mentors, she goes, I really hate your background. And I was just like, okay. She's like, yeah, just like, but I needed someone to say that. I mean, I then called my interior designer, well, my friend, she's one of my men. I'm like, where do I get some artwork from? And I've got another one over there. But now, I mean, it's basic, it's simple, I don't really care, but it's just, you know, those things can matter. So I think I went off topic, but if there's anything holding you back, if it's fear, if you feel sick or whatever, it's coming from somewhere. Like, you've got to trust yourself. It's coming from somewhere. So if you don't know how to, and maybe write it out, or think about what's the worst thing that could happen if you did it. What's the worst thing that could happen right now if I went live? Write that down. Worst thing has happened, I don't say the right thing. Maybe I drop an F-bomb, which, by the way, I do all the time, and my audience seem to like it. Maybe someone comments and says something nasty. You can always delete that. And then what's the best thing that could happen? I could get better at it. My dream client could see me. She might book a call. And so it's just looking at, you know, and the probability of each of them. There's one more thing I was going to say, but I can't remember what it is, so I might circle back to it otherwise. But yeah, it's like clear it out, practice. So find a safe space to practice, get support, and just do it. Rip off the Band-Aid.
Like Nike, just do it. Do it. That's great advice. I love the practice bit, because I think it's really important to do that as you progress in your career and your industry. And you're right, just jump on and do it, because everyone has a unique story and a unique perspective to share. So I love that. And I am one of those people that when I watch you and you just pop up and you're in the car and you've had a crappy day, or, you know, then you jump from being in the office. I love it, because it just makes me think that you're genuinely being yourself, and you've got such a strong message, and you're not pretending to be one of those people online that's living the yacht lifestyle that we get a lot in this industry. You know, there's a lot of that sort of fakery and fluffery and all about the money and I find that you're very not like that. So you have the success built around being very authentically yourself. So it's great. I'd love to know, Sophie, what...
Can I share one thing with you before?
Yeah, absolutely.
Think of this. This is something that I was going to say. Something that we work on the mastermind. I'm just going to share this with you. Ask yourself this question, everyone, and I want to see you comment. Do you believe that you have something of value to offer other people? It's a simple yes or no. Do you believe you have something of value to offer other people? The second thing is, if you believe you do, like, you know, you've got something there that can help people. Great, good. Yes, Mel, good, right? The second thing is, do you believe that these potential clients of yours who are stuck, confused, in pain, overweight, broken marriages, whatever it is, that they are worth you figuring out how to connect with them? As in, learn the skills, get over your fear, do the things that make you feel uncomfortable. Then if they are, awesome, because you need to figure out how to get online. Because right now, all of your skills, gifts, and talents are going to waste if no one knows you exist. And how do they know you exist? Is by being online. So you can't help anyone from your office, from your car. You have to find a way to get the confidence to be able to communicate online in an authentic way so that you can actually use those skills, gifts, and talents to help them in their business. And so think about that. If the fear comes up for you, think about, well, right now, your clients are drowning in an ocean. Your potential clients are out there drowning in an ocean right now. They need you. They need your help. So you reaching out to them is that lifeline. And if you visualize right now that you're not okay with your clients drowning in an ocean, then you will figure it out. You will find a way to communicate with them. You'll find a way to figure out what gaps you have in your business. But if you don't have that, oh, I've got to help them, then maybe business isn't for you.
Yep. So well said. And I'd love to circle back to one of the points you made earlier. They're not going to knock on your door. I say this all the time, and I totally agree with you. If you're not being seen and you're not being heard, nobody knows about you. Word of mouth will get you so far. And it's great if word of mouth's gotten you to the point where you're happy with what you've got, you know, sort of coming in or what you're doing or whatnot. But you're right, you've got to be seen and be heard. So it's great advice. Yeah. I'd love to know, Sophie, before I open it up for questions, where you think the industry that you're in will be in 5 to 10 years with the changes that are happening? And any advice around that, how to navigate, maybe be prepared?
From a technology perspective, I don't think that we'll have websites. Like, I think that if you look at what's happening with Facebook and other social media platforms, I mean, I think now you can have a shop on Facebook as well, or it's coming, or it has, you know, like, ultimately businesses are on social media now. So traditional, we used to have a storefront or have to meet in person. Then more recently, we're using social media. We've got business pages, we've got groups. I believe that probably over the next 5 or 10 years, we won't need websites because everything will kind of be on whatever platform that audience is using, potentially. That's what I'm hearing anyway. From a service perspective, from a coach, from an industry perspective, I just think, you know, I'm if you can see behind me, I've got like butcher's papers everywhere all over the desk and stuff because we're creating a new webinar, a new mastermind. And it's all about the rise of the wealthy woman, right? And this is a woman who has her own financial independence. She's using her skills to help others. And the thing is that I see that the more women claiming how incredibly brilliant they are and owning it and not apologizing for it and not discounting for it, I see this wave of women really stepping up into really powerful leadership positions. And like I said before, when you put money in the hands of women, you change the world. So I just see an incredible wave of women, wealthy women. When I talk about wealthy as well, I talk about, you know, a woman who has time for herself. You know, she has her own independence. She can choose if she stays in her marriage or leaves. To make sure my husband can't hear, but you can choose. You have that choice. You can, you know, you can grow a business. You can spend time with those you love. You can. That to me is wealth, is choice. So yeah, I just see this rise of women stepping into that powerful space of really owning who they are and changing people's lives for it and being financially rewarded for it as well.
I love that. And I just envision exactly what you just said, the rise of women doing their own life, their own way, on their own terms. You're definitely like that, Sophie. You're such an inspiration. I really want to say thank you for being really honest and open with everybody today. I think there's so much to learn when people really share everything about themselves and don't hold back. I'd love to open it up if anyone has a question. I know there were a couple that were really keen to kind of pick your brain. Does anyone want to jump in and pick Soph's brain while she's... Sharon?
Oh no, sorry, Mia, you go.
Oh, sorry, Sharon. I just had to, I might have missed it because the delivery guy came with my groceries in the perfect timing. But Sophie, I was going to ask, you know how you're talking about that whole sleazy marketing feel? Because I'm an author and I've got a platform on my social media, and you know, I really enjoy taking photos, but I hate the idea of hounding people with buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. So I steer well clear of that. And you know, it puts me off when I go to other people's Instagram sites, and it is every third post is a buy my book. I was talking with someone the other day who did point out, well, Maya, that is your income. And you know, you need to also remember that that's a professional platform. So people do expect that you are going to mention the fact that you are an author and you sell books. What do you find is that little middle ground there, you know, without coming across and feeling like a sleazy salesman, with, you know, mentioning, what would you put in as in, you know, how often, how regularly would you mention the fact that I have this product for sale, I'd love you to go buy, or I'd love you to leave a review? Like, where do you, you may have covered that while I was putting the milk in the fridge.
No, we didn't, but I'm glad the milk's not going off. There's a couple of things, and I see this all the time in the mastermind as well. What is it that is showing up for you? Like, I'm curious, what is it that's coming up for you when you don't want to always promote what you do? What is it that's holding you back from doing that?
Yeah, so I do feel that, you know, maybe it is off-putting for people, and that I may lose potential followers that were maybe potential readers. That then, you know, yeah, I guess I'm aware that hopefully with each book that comes out, my readership grows. But yeah, I definitely don't want to come across as everyone should read this and it's just so wonderful. Yeah.
So one of the best ways to do this is you don't promote you, right? So you would share testimonials or get little videos from recent people who have bought your book to share what they loved about it or how it's changed their life. What type of book is it?
It's Real Romance.
What was that, sorry?
It's Real Romance with Alan Unwin.
Oh, awesome, cool. Okay, cool. So yeah, so you can share little snippets out of the book, or share, because stories sell ultimately. Social media, especially Facebook, so maybe not as much Instagram, but is a social space. So it's about connecting and sharing and ideas. Now, I'm a big believer in having a call to action. So underneath your post, you can always have, you know, to get your copy, you can always have the link to go and get it within that post. Doesn't necessarily have to be hidden, doesn't have to necessarily be like the book cover on every post. So you could do like little snippets, little stories. You can share stories about what's happening in your life and how funny because it related to what was happening in the book. Just like interesting things like that. Share testimonials about the book. You know, do you ask all of your clients to leave your review, or do an interview with one of your readers around what they loved about the book? Why was it juicy? And get them to talk about how great it was, you know, from their views, because it's always better to have someone else promote you than you. So really clever marketers do this well. So this is why people use influencers, right? So because it's always better having someone else going, oh my God, I just used these AirPods. Oh my God, I didn't want to use them because like, heck, they're expensive. But I just bit the bullet because everything I was trying kept falling out of my ears and it was really shitty. And so finally I got these, I put them in, and like, this is better sound quality than I have without them. Like, I don't know what I was waiting so long for. You know, so that's why having other people talk about what you do is more powerful. So that's like today at 1 o'clock, like I'm interviewing Natalie, who, like I said, just hit 37K package, because rather than me going, I'm so great, my client just did this, and I'm just going to interview her about her story and the impact of her life now that she's done that. So does that help?
Yeah, so I'd never even really thought about asking people to do a short video, you know, like a 1 minute type of one that I could put on my Instagram about that. Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you.
And think about the objections people have before they want to work with you or buy your book. I'm just being generic for everyone, but think about the objections someone might have before buying the book, and then get that person to talk about the objection, like I just did then. I didn't want to buy it. I thought it was expensive. I didn't have enough money coming into my business to invest. Like, there's all these different ones, and get them to talk directly to that and how it, you know, the book super succeeded their expectation. Don't use that word, that'd be crazy, but you know, how juicy the romance was, and it's so, I love curdling up with the book, and yeah, you know, with everything going on in the world today, there's nothing better than getting into my book.
Excellent, thank you.
You can even run like a little challenge with your readers and get them to you know, quote their favorite, like do a little 20-second video quoting their favorite like juicy section or something. Yeah. And then, you know, run a competition to see who, you know, who does the best one. Then you could make a little video montage out of them all or something.
Yeah. And do you find that giveaways are, because I like to do giveaways each month of, you know, different products and things. Do you feel like they're ever overused, or there's one way that you'd recommend that people, that you get max value out of the product that you're giving away with?
So, because my business is slightly different. So I would have like a free download. Like I've got a Nail Your Lives guide, right? Actually, you can go to nailyourlives.com and you can get a free copy of this book. So I have my own giveaways, I suppose, which is different to having a product and an Instagram feed. I think ultimately it's about the strategy. So it's not just about giving it away. It's like that strategy is to bring you more people like your audience. So you may partner with other businesses who have the same audience but a completely different product, so you're not competing for the sale, and run some joint competitions or something with them where, you know, they have to like both businesses, tag 3 friends, those kind of things. I think they're good for growing your following and your audience and getting more people for you. But yeah, ultimately you'll know the success of your giveaway by how many increases in followers did you have, how many increases in sales did you have during that period of time, and then create like a promo window. So you might do it for that week, right? And then measure the months before compared to that week, and then you'll be able to see if it's worth it or not. But I think if you have one every month, it's also your readers kind of, or your followers get used to that as well. So they want to expect, oh, what's coming up? Who have you partnered with this time? And you can make it really juicy as well. So, and I
love that idea, Sophie. I think the juicy bits would get people to go, oh, I need to read that book.
Yeah, have fun too. Be playful.
Beauty, thank you.
Sharon, did you want to jump in and you had a question?
Yeah, I did. So I love listening to your story because I can relate. You know, when I was young, I did all the things that similar that you did, and I'm about to stop my part-time job to go all in, which a month ago when I made a decision, I was very excited, and now the good old imposter syndrome kicks in and I'm literally freaking out. So I find that, I'm sure that everybody can relate. You'll have those weeks or those months or those days where you're like, yeah, I'm winning at this, I'm doing so well, you know, I'm nailing it. And then you have those days where this self-doubting, questioning yourself to do a live or to even, I don't know, to anything, you know, like to making the big decision. And how do you deal with that imposter syndrome that all in a sudden just showed up when you thought you were cooking the word, and now suddenly you're like, no, I can't do this. I should go back to my boss and ask me to keep me because, you know, I'm freaking out.
That's a really big question. I think something that we all still, I still have. Like even today, I jumped onto I run my mastermind class and I go through everyone's work and their questions and I look at their work and their funnels and everything, right? So we're very in depth with them. And for some reason this morning before I got on the call, I just had this whole like, do I even know what I'm talking about? Like, what if I ask a question I don't know? And like, what if I say the wrong thing? And I just like, I call it the itty bitty shitty committee. And she really can like take hold if you let her. So I think there's an element of just understanding her, and by her I mean you, right? This like understanding her and why is she trying to keep you safe, because that's ultimately what your brain is designed to do, is to keep you safe. You know, something's hot, your brain won't let you put your hand in the fire, right? Like it's designed to keep you safe. So what you're doing is by making that very powerful decision to choose how you live your life, she's going, oh, maybe not. Like, I don't think that's the safest way for you to do life. And you haven't done it like that before. So how do you know it's going to work? And wouldn't it be easier if you just did it this way? That's her job. So acknowledge her. Thank you. Thank you for trying to keep me safe. I really appreciate it. You're amazing. Right now, though, I'm actually choosing to go this way because I want that more than I want this safety. And so just like even have an outward conversation with her or write it in your journal. And it's, I think rather than we go resist, we're just trying to push it down and block and ignore and go, it's not there, it's not there. You know, everyone's talking about just don't focus on the bad thoughts, just create affirmations. I think you have to acknowledge what is happening and then trust yourself and just say, look, that's great. I appreciate that, but and now I'm choosing to actually do this and I want you to get on board because this is going to fucking rock.
Yeah. I find that when I was young, you know, you make all these decisions and you don't have, it's not that you don't have responsibility, but, you know, like I moved away from Italy when I was 18, moved to the UK, not even speaking the language, you know, and I'm looking back and I'm like, man, if I could do that at 18, why the fuck can I do this now? Like, excuse me language again. But, you know, now obviously you have a family and you have children, you know, responsibility, and it feels like, yeah, the self-doubt definitely kicks in a bit more when it comes to it.
And that's a really perfect point that you just said then. Look back to another time in your life where you were brave and how did you smash that?
Yeah.
Like you said, you moved from Italy to the UK, you didn't know the language. Like how much harder could this be?
Exactly.
You know, and so then you start to reprogram your brain and be like, actually, if you did this is small in comparison. So yeah, let's get on board together.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
What can I just quickly ask, what business do you have?
I do children dinnerware, eco-friendly children dinnerware that I design, made out of bamboo. Yeah.
And have a plan, have a strategy. Like, see, you know, so if you're taking the 15 hours out of, you know, your job, where are those 15 hours going now that's going to help you to increase? So just be really clear, have it mapped out, exactly what you're focusing on, have a plan. And that'll help your itty bitty to come down.
Cool. Thank you.
Congratulations too. It's very exciting.
Thanks.
Jody just said she's got to pop off. Bye, Jody. Does anyone else have a question for Sophie while I have her here? You can hit her with anything. She's got it. I'd love to ask you one. If you've got a question, feel free to drop it in the chat or jump on. But I'd love to ask you, Sophie, you've obviously stepped up this year to be a 2020 Raw Awards judge. So thank you so much. I know the judges have had their work cut out for them this year. I'd love any advice that you have. I'm about to release the top 5 at the end of this week for each category. Some categories have had, I think, 37 people enter this year. So it's been quite an epic a task for the judges. I'd love to know any advice that you have for the people that aren't going to make that top 5. Is there something from a judge's perspective that you could offer that they could take away, perhaps to enter the next award that they enter or come back next year, or, you know, some advice, I guess, around what you've seen, because we haven't told anybody who's judging what category, but I'd love just your perspective.
Yeah. Okay, so from what I've seen, I would love to have seen more specific like answers around the topic I was judging. So I can't tell you what one. But so if you went for a specific category, then tailoring your responses to that category. The other thing is, I would have loved to have seen more video. I mean, right now, like we're all on here getting to know each other. It's way different than me reading an application. I can feel your energy from those that have like engaged and asked questions and said hello, and even in the, I can feel that energy. And that plays a massive part in an awards thing. It's around, you know, how committed are they? How focused are they? And yeah, just really aligning what the responses are to that category. I can't kind of stress that enough. But yeah, and video, like be brave and do a video. It makes you stand out. Like those that have done the videos in my category, like ultimately I just see them so differently because I'm able to see them. I'm able to experience them and see what they're really like as a person, which I love. That's a lot of what the Raw awards are about. It's not just about the results. It's about who the person is, the drive, the passion, what have they overcome, where are they going? Yeah, so, and it's not a cookie cutter thing, awards, and some of them I could definitely feel like it felt like it was just here's another award, up it goes, here's another award. So it is important to tailor it to that specific ones. And the last thing is there was a section where you could put a personal note to the judge. So those that did, like it felt like they were writing a personal message to me, and it really stood out to me. And then those that just left it blank, I was like, oh, okay, they didn't answer. And so that was also interesting to see as well. So just a couple of little tips.
Thank you. I think that's awesome. And there's been consistency in the judges' feedback this year where, like you said, there's been obvious people that have just played it cool and just played it's just another opportunity and haven't sort of pushed themselves or stepped up in this application. So thank you for expressing that, because I feel like sometimes, you know, I find myself, even I do it, sometimes I just sit in my comfort, and it's not until I have a competitor or something that pushes me, or, you know, you get up and you think, I've got to make this happen, that I go, okay, it's game on. So.
And awards are really important. Like I've won a few, I've been named top business leader. They give you credibility for what you do. It gives your product credibility, it gives your brand credibility, and it's social proof. You know, we were talking before around, you know, with the book, you know, how do you keep, you share awards, you share, you know, recommendations, you share that you've been featured, you share all of the social proof, you get other people to talk about you. Having an award or being a finalist, like it gets you out there. I mean, now, like I get asked to be a judge. I've been like the Sydney School of Entrepreneurship. I'm one of their mentors, working with Macquarie Uni. I've been on, they have a Shark Tank style pitch weekend where they have to work in groups and come up with new business ideas and then pitch it at our sharks. And, you know, like I get lots of International Women's Day keynote speaker, like I get lots of different opportunities now because I went and I did the work and went through these awards, and it gives you great credibility. So yeah, they're really important. It's pretty cool to have the logos on the bottom of your emails, on your website, do posts about it. It gets everyone excited, and it's like that new fresh energy about your business and what you're doing again. So it's really cool.
Thank you so much for your time today, Sophie. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed listening to you speak. I know everybody's been nodding and the chat's been going berserk. Before I let you go, does anybody else have a question? Tanya, did you want to jump on? Tanya's been soaking it all in.
I can see her gorgeous face smiling and nodding all the time.
Yes, I'm not sure I have an actual question, but yes, it's definitely helped a lot. I definitely have limiting. I believe in what we're doing so much, and really want to get behind the camera more and speak to our customers and our audience to help them. So I've definitely taken away lots of things to try and overcome the fears. We're third generation beekeepers, so we have raw single line honey, and developed on the side of that a business called Botanicals, and we have award-winning beeswax farms for mum, baby and family. And yeah.
So if you're struggling or getting stuck on being on video and whatever, these kind of businesses, us consumers are really excited with the behind the scenes stuff. You know, like they put cameras up in the zoo, or they put cameras up in like the chicken farms and stuff to show people really what goes on. Like, I would love to see a little behind the scenes and, you know, get to know you and your family or whoever else works there. And just like little 1 minute, like once a week, a little video of, you know, the bees and how it works, or, you know, just like the dripping of honey, you know, on a little video. Like, it doesn't have to, you don't have to think big production and perfect things. It's like, show people behind the scenes of how things happen, show the boxes coming together, like the latest shipment going out, and, you know, get some excitement around, you know, you could put just like, you get some new stickers for your boxes, you know, with like little love hearts, I don't know, but just create that energy around your business behind the scenes, because people buy from people. Even though it's a product, they're ultimately buying from you. So if you can create that kind of curiosity and excitement around your business and your brand and the team behind the scenes, people become loyal to that. And you have a product where it's consumable, so they use it, they can buy more. They will become loyal because of you, not because of the taste of the honey.
And do you think not just like I keep on thinking I need to do it all on Instagram stories behind the scenes, but something that I should do actually on the platform, you know, Facebook and Instagram as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rather than just stories. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and you could even have like a weekly blog type thing that you do, like behind the beekeeper or something. You could name it really cleverly, and you could just have like it could even be a video blog that you do every week, and it could be like a few minutes, or it could be a written one with a couple of photos, and have, you know, have like the behind the scenes stuff, have some family stuff, and have some like the product images and stuff as well, and always have your links and that to it. But if you create like this little, like, go look at what they do at the zoo, and then look at, okay, that gets so high watching, that's not very good English, but you know what I mean, that gets really high views. How can you model that in your own businesses? So for everyone, look at who in your field is nailing it. What are they doing? How can you model off of that? Obviously, you don't copy like their wording or anything like that, because that's copyright, but look at the model. What are they doing? Learn from that and go do that. And it's consistency. It's always consistency. So if you're going to do a weekly beekeeper, behind the beekeeper or something, vlog, whatever it is, then make sure it's consistently, it goes out on the same time each week, so that your audience can get excited and behind it as well. And then send out an email about it, do a post about it, do a live about it, do a, you know, and so it's all about that one thing to build the buzz, build the buzz behind your brand.
Yeah,
get the excitement and have fun. Be different, be raw, be real, because that's what people are attracted to. Like Dee said before, no one wants the perfect filtered Instagram, oh my God, that looks amazing, unless it's like you're aspiring to have the most perfect designer house or something, you know.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else quickly want to jump on? Soph's got another appointment, so I'm mindful of the time. No, you're all good.
I was just going to ask the awards. You're mentioning other awards. This is my first time kind of really throwing my hat into the ring with the Raw Awards. And is there anything else that you'd suggest?
So there's all of the local business awards that we luckily have. I think they're actually called local business, and they're everywhere. That was a good one, although I was certain I was going to win, and then we lost to a cafe, and I was like, how could that happen? But that's okay. There are, just have a look. I mean, in Sydney, we've got, you know, like the Western Sydney Awards, Western Sydney Awards, I think it's called, or Women in Western Sydney Awards. Just have a look, and ultimately become part of that community. Like if it is a specific award for a specific group or something, there's also the Mumpreneur Awards. There is every year, Small Business is a magazine in Melbourne, which is called Small Business, and we were top 50 small business leaders, or Inside Small Business. So, you know, it's a magazine that comes out, jump on, read about it, and you get nominated for that though. So then the year after, I became the judge that then nominated and picked the top 50. So yeah, just have a look in your area, but ultimately, yeah, credibility is great, and it feels nice. It feels nice to be recognised for all of your hard work, because let's be honest, husband doesn't do it at all.
Nope. They don't get it. Thank you so much for your time again today, Sophie. I know that the people that are watching got a lot out of your session. I want to thank you again for stepping up this year and becoming one of the judges behind the scenes. I couldn't have picked the caliber of people that we've got for judging. You are so living your own truth and your own life, and you've created a business that fits in with how you want to be in the world, balancing your kids, your family, your social life, and you love what you do, which is exactly what this awards platform is all about. So thank you so much again. Good luck with the rest of the judging. I know that you're still trying to nut down the top 3, but I appreciate your time today. I'll definitely share all of the links of how people can connect with you, links to your next masterclass and things like that. But just quickly before you go, what is the best way for someone to contact you if they've watched this session today and think, oh, I need to connect with this woman more? What's the easiest and the best way for them to do that?
You can just find me on Facebook. That's where I hang out most of the time. So make sure you spell my last name correctly. But Sophie Musumeci. I have a free group, so Real Entrrepeneur Women. So you can come and join that group, or just drop us an email, or go to our website, rewomen.com.au. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Come and have a chat. I do specialize in, I know I've given a lot of tips in product businesses as well, but I do specialize in coaches, consultants, and service providers. That's kind of like our area of jam. That's what we built the model over. So you can kind of plug and play on what I've got for your own business. But I'm happy to help if anyone has a business outside of that as well.
Love it. Thank you again. Thanks everyone for joining today. Have a fabulous Happy Hump Day afternoon. Good luck with your interview this afternoon, Sophie, and sharing all of your client success. I hope it absolutely just brings you in all the new clients and lifts you up for the day. So thank you so much again, and have a great day.
Hi everyone, it's so great to be here. Thanks, Steve, for the opportunity to be a judge too. It's beautiful awards.
My pleasure. Thank you again. Bye.